And welcome to Mary Walter Radio. My guest and I were dancing behind the scenes. I want to thank Ron Squeaky. You know him on here. He's a regular. He sent me a bunch of music. He's super talented. So he took some classical music and did other things with it so we can use it. Yay! I could use it without getting dinged for it. And since it is October, what better than Oktoberfest polka? Right? So waltz, I think it was, I don't know who, I think it's Beethoven. I'm not quite sure who it was. And he made it into polka. So thank you so much, Ron. We really appreciate that. If you have not done so, please subscribe to the podcast. Please like the podcast if you were watching. We do appreciate that. The audio is available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Just look for Mary Walter Radio. Hello to everyone watching live on Getter and on YouTube. Please know you can leave comments. If you are watching live on YouTube, I can automatically put the comments up on the screen. If you are watching on Getter and leave a question or a comment, I just have to read them because they don't transfer over from there automatically. So now a lot of you know this guy. You've heard of him. You've seen him all over social media, usually getting thrown off of social media. Barry Morgenstein, welcome to Mary Walter Radio, the podcast. It's great to have you, my friend. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me back. It's been a while since we spoke.
Yeah. So I'm so glad to have you, as I said, here with us because what happened? There are so many questions that I have for you. You have such an incredible, insane career, right? Like you do the coolest job. And I think your career is one of those careers that someone may have a passion for and they want to do, but they never quite make it, right? It's like, oh, I really want to play basketball. And you may be really good at it, but very few people actually get to do that for a living. And they always say, find your passion and make that your living. And somehow you have managed to do that. So for those who don't know, Barry is an award-winning photographer. He is the go-to headshot photographer in the industry. So everybody has had, including myself, has had headshots shot by Barry, and he is phenomenal. And
thank you. Appreciate that.
When I first contacted Barry and I said, hey, Barry, you want to come on the podcast? He's like, yeah, I'd really like to do that. I'm like, oh, that's great. So I said to him, I said, in preparation, I want to show some of your pictures. So send me your top 10 favorite all-time pictures. Just send me the top 10. He's like, well, do you want video? Do you want? I said, no, just the top 10 pictures. This is what you do. You're a photographer. Send me top 10. He sent me 36 pictures, not 10. So he goes, oh, here's two more. Here's two more. Here's three more. Here's four more. So I took the time out of my day because, I got that kind of time. And I went through and I just said, okay, I know this one. I don't know that one. And I just weeded them out. All right.
There you go.
So before we get to those, because some of them are headshots, which is what you do now.
Right.
Some of them are photos of rockers, which I think is how you started your career.
Absolutely.
So tell me, let's talk about that. How did you get here? Was photography always a passion for you?
No, actually it wasn't. Music was.
Wow.
That's what got me into photography. I probably didn't get into photography till early 20s. I played guitar. I was in a band, and I was not very good. I knew I didn't have a future in it.
Okay.
So, at the time, my girlfriend was a singer of the band. All my friends were musicians. I just started photographing her. My buddies were musicians. And as I'm photographing, I'm realizing, my love of music, I realize I have an eye. I can capture these people. I know how to capture them. So maybe I can stay in the music business, not as a musician, but I could just photograph musicians and be around them. And that's kind of like how I got my start, and led me to working as an assistant with a big rock and roll photographer. And then,
So how did you get the gig working as an assistant for a big rock and roll photographer? How did that come about? Because you started this, I would assume, in college is when you had like the band, the quintessential garage band.
Yeah, the early 20s. Yeah, early 20s. Okay. Right, exactly. Yeah. I just started making calls around to New York with some photographers I admired. Annie Leibovitz hung up on me, so that didn't work out.
She's a liberal anyway. Who cares?
Exactly. That's another story. I kind of tricked her to come to the phone, so she was a little upset with that. I was trying to be real cool about it. But anyway, so I started. I got a recommendation from a friend of mine who was a rock and roll writer. He said, "Oh, this photographer is looking for somebody, and I ended up as his assistant for 2 years. And
Wow.
he started sending me out to shoot concerts, and I built up my portfolio. And after 2 years, I made connections with record companies and magazines, and just went on my own.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. And we're going to get into the stories about you doing rock and roll and
Sure.
photographing some of these acts. Because initially, everybody, he just sent me headshots when I asked him for his top 10 pictures. He sent me headshots. I'm like, didn't you also like interview and not interview, but didn't you also photograph like these rockers at these concerts and stuff like that? I don't know. That sounds way more interesting than,
Yeah.
Bill
Right.
O'Reilly's headshot. So he sent me some of those as well. So like I said, I did weed through these. I just quickly want to say hello to everybody. Ron, who did the music for us, said it's music from my
Mozart.
Mozart Goes South collection. Well, he sent me 5 different cuts. I downloaded them all, but I wanted to do this one for October. Now Tax USA, Steve Redden says, what a week, what a month. I have a house full of Tampa Bay refugees. Well, that was nice of you.
Yeah.
Bring them
Very
in.
nice.
Yeah, that's very good. Let's see. Gregor says he's got merch. I don't know who he is, Greg. Who are you talking about? Are we talking about Ron or are we talking about Barry? Barry, do you have merch?
I do. Actually, I do
You
sell
do?
now I sell my rock and roll stuff on T-shirts, and I should have worn one of my own T-shirts, but I didn't.
Yes.
I have T-shirts, and I sell them as frame photos. So yeah, you can get, they're on my website. You can find Stevie Ray Vaughan, BB King, whoever, Chuck Berry, Michael Jackson. They're all on T-shirts. So yeah, it's pretty cool merch I have. If that's,
And
hopefully that's what he's
website?
referring to.
What's your website?
Just BarryMorgenstein.com. Yeah.
Okay, there you
And
go.
also I'm on
Simple.
Twitter. Not Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I have, besides my regular page, I have my Barry Rock and Roll T-shirts, I think it's called. So if you follow my regular Instagram, you can find the T-shirt page too. So.
And what is your name on Instagram? What are you?
Barry M Photo.
Barry M Photo, which is what he is on X. You're Barry M Photo there as well.
Yeah.
You're Barry.
My wife calls me Barry M Photo too.
Does she?
She's
beautiful.
Just kidding.
This man's wife is gorgeous. It's frightening.
Yeah. So I got lucky.
And you're Barry M Photographer on Truth Social.
Yes.
Absolutely. So yeah, great. Barry M Photographer on Truth Social. Okay, let's see. Actually, Ron, is that polka or scary Halloween music or both? Now Text USA wants to know. Out of the cone for the Milton family is safe. Okay, everybody's here. We have Mandy D is new
Mandy.
to the podcast. Hi, Mandy.
Very good.
You know Mandy Barry.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Mandy and Jack, 2 very talented documentary filmmakers.
Oh, wow. Well, she says you are a rock star.
Oh, thank you. That's what I pay over to say.
You follow Oreo on X. He said thank you for the follow.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Oreo.
Yep. Love the shirt. Beatles forever.
Good taste. I like them. I wish I took this photo, but I didn't.
So Gregory says he can't wait to see your disappointment when I didn't pick your true favorites.
Is he talking about the music?
Oh,
the photos.
The photos. Oh, yeah, the photos.
Okay, yeah.
Susan's here. Lauren is here. Barry, Jack here, and she says Mick or Keith.
Keith.
Is that a photo that you did?
No, I guess she's asking about the Stones.
That's what I would assume.
Do I like Mick or Keith? Love them both.
Okay.
I have to go with Keith if that's what she's asking. Keith it is.
Let's see. And okay. So let's she's here. She says, hell yeah.
There you go. She's great. Love you both, you guys.
This is why I love doing this format. Sometimes we don't get far.
Right,
because
that's great. I've never done that. I've done a lot of podcasts, but never with the interactions. That's a great idea.
Yeah, well, because sometimes I do it without a guest host, and I just have, not just, but these guys are great. The followers are great, and they chime in if we're doing news stories, and they ask questions and make comments, and so it really goes somewhere, and I really like that. Hermit Sal already has a question for you. He says, my sometimes better half and I took a headshot together via cell phone. The photo shows a slight shadow under her eye, but she doesn't have one. Why did that mark appear?
Well, you shouldn't do professional headshots with a cell phone to start. I know somebody I could recommend, actually. So yeah, I mean, the cell phone's not perfect. You know, when I shoot headshots, you're in the studio, you have controlled lighting, you can, you know, probably makeup too. Shoots could have a makeup artist. So there's no number of reasons for that. Yeah, you just don't want to. Cell phones are good for selfies and fun shots, and I mean the quality is certainly better than it used to be. But obviously, if you really want a professional headshot, you don't do it with your cell phone.
Of course. And you have Maureen, who does the best makeup ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but the thing I find when shooting a picture with a cell phone, lighting is a girl's best friend. That's the first thing, because let me tell you, the higher you go up on the lighting, the more you hide. It's awesome. Right. If I could figure out a way to walk around with a ring light in my face at all times, I swear I can make billions of dollars selling it to women to figure out how to do that. Just so you have that ring lighting in your face at all times. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's very
but the other thing, you can also on your phone, you can touch things up like that. So you can blur those things out. You can do all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So.
You can do everything with even cell phones.
Yeah, it was a selfie in a restaurant, Herman Sal said. So okay, so I want to get back to you. It's all about you tonight.
Of course.
When was the last time someone said that to you, Barry?
Actually, my wife says it to me all the time, actually.
That's because you're still newlyweds somewhat.
She's being very sarcastic, I think.
I was going to say, it's either because you're newlyweds somewhat, or it's because she's being sarcastic.
She knows me.
So you went around and you started photographing rock stars because you were employed by this photographer and that was his gig, and so you hooked up with the right guy. So was that when you did all of your rock star photography?
A little both. He started an agency, so he would send me out and I would shoot for his agency and he would sell the photos. So I'd say half and half, because again I was with him for 2 years. Actually, more than half. More on my own. I was with him 2 years. Then when I left, I continued doing that, working for record companies and magazines. So, I built up a pretty good library and portfolio of photos. That's, like I say, so now I sell them on T-shirts and frame photos. But yeah, no, a little both.
All right. So, okay, so that's what you're doing. Did you enjoy doing that? Was that like a fun thing?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it was. A lot of times it was great. A lot of times I was sent to shows probably I prefer not to be at. I was shooting a lot.
Like which ones?
Oh, I hate heavy metal, and like I used to. It was the late '80s and '90s, and there was a big magazines had a big call for heavy metal or even thrash metal, which was absolute torture. For me, I was more into I loved it when I got to shoot B.B. King or Stevie Ray Vaughan or the Rolling Stones. The good stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, did you shoot the Rolling Stones?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Because you didn't send any of those pictures, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I guess I could. That's not my absolute favorite shots. They put far back or whatever. I didn't have exclusive like in the photo pit like I did for a lot of shots, a lot of the shows. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you do anything like I'm trying to think of other bands that weren't like heavy metal, but so you were pretty much mostly rock. Like you didn't photograph like Barry Manilow. You didn't photograph like Air Supply, right?
No, not really. But I guess there were times there was maybe other. I photographed Yo-Yo Ma once, which was
cool. Wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
Sometimes it was a bit of a variety. Kept it interesting.
So somewhere though, you made the switch and you decided that you were going to focus in on headshots.
Portraits.
Yeah. Portraits. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody I know uses you for headshots. So that's why I guess where I gravitated.
I mean, when I first started, that's what I was thinking. Portraits when I made this segue.
So why did you make the segue?
So I guess, I started doing a lot of studio stuff. And I thought for a while, okay, now I'm going to be a fashion photographer. It was like, what better job going from rock and roll than I'll be shooting pretty models all the time. I was like, well, you know what? Actually, I really realized early on the fashion world was not going to be for me. It's just, I don't know. It's just not my world. I like being around creative people, musicians, actors. Fashion world's a little too crazy for me too. It was a little too weird. I even realized that early on. So I just realized, but I was good at capturing people and portraits. So I kind of just acquired that talent pretty quickly. And I got a recommendation. Somebody said, soap operas were big then, and somebody said there's a soap opera magazine out in New Jersey. You should send them some of your work. And I did, and they loved it, and they started hiring me to shoot all these soap opera actors and actresses. And
That's so cool.
they started recommending me or asking that I shoot their photos for either magazine layout or for the show. And like from then, I realized I knew how to capture people, I guess, actors and portraits.
Have you shot any of the Real Housewives of New Jersey?
I actually one of the ones of I think New York.
I don't know those.
Okay, Alex McCord, I think is her name. I mean, probably people will know that, but she was the only one, and that was a long time ago. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
no, I got nothing.
I remember that name because obviously I never watched the Housewives shows. But.
Yeah, I only have so much time for guilty pleasures, you
Right,
know,
yeah.
and Housewives is one of my guilty pleasures. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So Greg says, while you're photographing your subjects who are on the stage, is there much interaction between you and them, or do they ignore you?
I've had actually a good question. I've had some interaction. Like they'll see you because you're right there in what they call the photo pit. So you're right in front of the stage, and they'll sometimes look down. I once had Gene Simmons look down at me and kind of, I think he gave me his tongue or something like that, whatever he does. So it's like, so yeah. So I've had a few exaggerated poses with guitar. So yeah, certainly sometimes.
Okay.
Although actually, I do. One of my favorite stories is my Elton John story. If you want to hear that, because that was a good interaction. That was a funny story.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So
because we're just going to go through the pictures, I think, at the end.
Okay.
Just because for me to go, well, actually, let me see if I could bring it up. Let me just see if I can. Let me see
get a visual with the funny story.
Yeah, hold on.
This is me early on in my career acting a little dopey.
Here we go.
That was the show. That was the show.
Wait, yeah. Let me get rid of that thing in the background. Let me get rid of this. Hold on. Let me get rid of this. Boom. And I don't know why that thing is in the background, but I'll deal with that.
Yeah. Still see the shot.
Oh, nope. Just pull this up. There we go. I'll get rid of that. There we go.
There you go.
Elton John. Look at that thing on his head. Holy Christmas.
Yeah, don't ask me what that is. That's so this was at Madison Square Garden, obviously New York City. I was hired by his company I was his official photographer for 2 shows at Madison Square Garden in 1997. So I'm like, again, in the photo pit, there's the first row, there's the photo pit where the hired photographers are on the stage. So I'm shooting away, and I'm the only photographer out there. And this is early on in my career, so it's already kind of surreal, and like I'm freaking out that I'm here. I'm in Madison Square Garden shooting Elton John. So I'm all the way on the left side of the stage, and a fan comes up to the front row and tries to hand him this big thing of balloons, and he comes to the edge of the stage and he's reaching over and trying to reach the balloons, and he can't quite reach it. So he kind of looks down at me, and he gives me like a little nod like this, like, give me a little hand here. So idiot that I am, I'm like, again, freaking out. This is Elton John. I'm in Madison Square Garden where I've been to hundreds of concerts. This guy's talking to me, telling me to do something. So what do? I just stand there and I freeze in Madison Square. So I'm just standing there staring at him, probably with my mouth hanging open. And then he gives this kind of like exaggerated, like a Ralph Crampton, like with a head move, like, get your ass over here, buddy. And I kind of snap out of it. I run down, take the balloons, hand it to Elton John, and I'm out of there. So it was like, yeah.
That's so cool.
Silly story, but it was kind of cool. So that was probably the best interaction for
now. What is this from the same night?
Yeah, same show. That same show. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, back in his crazy costume days.
Yeah.
Made for some great photos. So.
Yeah, I thought those were great because I know I've seen you post so many of your photos over the years.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just so fascinating how someone can have a career like that. And it's just so cool.
Yeah.
To do something like that.
A lot of luck too. So.
Well, listen, I always say it's better to be lucky than be good.
Yeah.
You're a very good photographer. I mean, you're phenomenal. And I don't say that because I know you. I wouldn't have you on if I didn't think you were a phenomenal photographer and very talented. But luck, I mean, think of there's probably 100 Barrys out there who are also good photographers, but didn't have the luck or didn't have the connection or didn't get that guy to send them to that first rock show,
Right.
So
very true. I agree.
It's meant to be. It's meant to be.
Absolutely.
Okay. I've got questions here for you. Oreo wants to know if you ever photographed Toto. I guess that's one of his favorite bands.
I guess so. Sorry, unfortunately, I did not.
Okay.
No,
All
no
right.
photo.
We got several people toasting. Mandy says you are the best photographer ever, but I think she's a little bit biased.
Yeah, that's what close friends are for.
Susan, others drinking red wine tonight. Okay. Herman says, what or whom is the most difficult photo and difficult person you ever photographed?
Actually, that's a good question too. One of the concert-wise, probably one of the most difficult was Miles Davis. The great jazz artist.
Yeah.
He was I was shooting him at Beacon Theater in New York City, but he was basically he's kind of he was an oddball. So he would shoot a lot of his show with his back to the audience for whatever reason. So I had to wait for 2 hours for this guy to decide to turn around so I get my shots. And it was like I had to wait. It was just weird. It was bizarre. That was a pain. In general, shooting.
Wait. Hold on a second. So people who are paid to sit in the front row, these people who score tickets to get these great seats, look at his butt for 2 hours?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe I'm not a big jazz fan. Maybe jazz fans are okay with that because it's more about listening anyway. It's not like Pete Townsend smashing his guitar. So maybe it's just they're laid back and listening to music and they don't care to see their idol or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it was weird.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is
but
crazy.
I got the shot. I should have sent that one to you actually.
Well, that's good. Yeah, well, you should have, could have. You sent me 36.
Yeah,
That was...
Next time I'll send you 46.
Suze adores Elton. Gregory loved the answer to his question. It's a very cool answer. So, okay, so now you've decided that you're going to go over to do the portraits, and because you're really good, you didn't wind up in Sears taking pictures of the Menendez family, because I just watched that special.
That's a great photo. I love that family shot.
You love that? You're the great, totally normal family.
Right, exactly. Right. I know. That's part of that show, was deciding which one was the craziest out of the four of them.
Did you watch? I did.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it was like,
yeah.
I don't know how accurate it was or how real, but it was definitely good TV.
Yeah, it was. Oreo wants to know, what's your favorite camera to use?
So I use a Canon. When I shot film back in the film days, I shot Nikon. As soon as I went digital, everything went digital. I changed to Canon. So anything Canon's great.
Okay. Suze wants to know, do you prefer live concert shooting or photo shoots?
I guess he means, or she means photo shoots by studio. Now,
like in a studio versus at a live.
Yeah, I like studio now because that's more my thing. Maybe now there's not a lot of musicians. All my favorites are not even around, so there's nobody I really want to shoot. But I think now studio is my thing. That's my expertise. Yeah. I'm good. I love the control lighting. I love the one-on-one talking to people. So yeah, that's my number one, is shooting headshots.
Yeah, it's more personal. It's more personal. I think it would have been cool to get Billy Joel in Madison Square Garden.
I never photographed him, so that would have been great too.
That would have been a fun show. Did you? Yeah. So are there any rock stars or any personalities that you wish you had a chance to photograph and didn't?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I kind of missed the highlight of rock and roll of I grew up in the 70s, so I would have preferred to have been shooting in the 70s. So, whether it's Led Zeppelin or The Who, or although I have shots of The Who I shot later, but not like in their heyday, Jimi Hendrix, people like that, obviously the Beatles, so those are all people I would have loved to photograph, so.
Yeah, that would have been.
But I got to meet some and photograph some of my legends later on, and some of my music heroes later on, like, again, Stevie Ray and B.B. King and Jimmy Page. So yeah, I'm lucky.
Yeah, no, that's great. Let's see. Scott wants to know, do you get to photograph any famous country music stars?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, you know what? I've always found the country stars were always the nicest. If I was backstage, they're just so cool, so laid back. I remember when I met Garth Brooks, and he was not a superstar, but he was just getting big. I just remember, like, he greeted me backstage and said, "Hey, would you like a soda pop?" And I just thought that was like, I never even heard it called the soda pop. But it was just so Southern, I guess. It's like, I just love, but all I met, photographed Willie Nelson, Randy Travis, Ricky Skaggs, just the nicest people. Always so friendly and laid back, just like regular guys. I love that.
It was probably so different from when you were photographing the rock stars and they're like, hey, would you like some blow? And the music stars are like, hey, would you like a soda pop?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great comparison to that. I was called up to shoot Tommy Lee and Vince Neil at the Elektra Records office, and it was like
Oh my
10
God.
o'clock in the morning, and I get up there, and they were very nice, but Tommy Lee like holds up a bottle of Jack Daniels. He's like, hey man, you want a sip? I'm like, no thanks. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning. It's like, I'm not quite there yet. It's like, and he looked at me like I was crazy.
I haven't had my Fruit Loops yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of questions coming in for you, and I had told you that this would probably happen because it's a great. Oh, you're drinking red too, just like
yeah.
Suze and some others here are drinking red as well. Look, I just want to put this up though. Here is yet another. This is Michael Jackson.
Yes.
Which I thought was a great. What was that like, photographing Michael Jackson? Did you get to talk to him, or was this another one I was just in the pit type thing?
I was just in the pit. I was hired, I think it was by the record company, and this was a tough one. So going back to the question that people say, what is difficult to shoot? Concerts like this, because then you have like about 35 photographers who are working for magazines in competition. So we're all trying to get the shot. And at that time, they only give you 2 songs. Then you're out of there. So you have 2 songs.
Oh, wow.
You get the shot, and they usher you out of the photo pit.
Wow, no free concert for you, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah, not those days. So, but this, I love that shot. That's I sell that one as a T-shirt. Actually, that's a big selling T-shirt.
Yeah.
So yeah, seeing Michael Jackson, just like even for 2 songs, it was pretty freaking cool because he's obviously was an amazing performer.
Yeah.
So that was it was hard, but it was a fun one to shoot.
Yeah, incredible talent, man. What an incredible talent. But he's another one who probably, let's see, who's this? This is Chuck Berry, right?
Well, that's one of my all-time favorite photos because I'm a big rock and roll guy, and he's the father of rock and roll, creator of it all to me. So that I was really lucky, and I'm proud that I really got to photograph him. This was in New York City, old club called the Ritz. It's not there anymore. So that was also, I had the whole show to shoot, but again, it was really tricky. It was a small club. And I think I love that capture of him too, kind of just.
Yeah, no, that's
so.
It's a great picture.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. So that one I'm really proud of.
Yeah, that one. And let me see. Oh, and I like this one too because you do, and I kind of want to move into this a little bit. So let's finish talking about let's get what people's questions are. People are texting me, seriously. I thought it was a question that they were texting me. Let's see. So Herman Sal wants to know, do you prefer film or digital? He also wants to know if you ever photographed Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show. I love Dr. Hook.
Oh my God,
I love Dr. Hook. They had like one good album, but I love that.
I know. Yeah, they had a few good songs too, but nothing beats the cover of a Rolling Stone. That's like
right.
That is so cool. It's like that's my era, the 70s. So I never got to photograph them. So the question of digital, I love. I prefer digital because now you don't have to deal. When I used to do headshots, you'd have to wait 3 days for the contact sheet. Client would have to come back and pick their headshot. Then you'd have to do 8x10s. Now they just get everything the same day. They get a drive or Dropbox, and they deal with it. Yeah. Now the only thing with film that I do miss, I think the black and white was a little bit, especially with concerts. Like if I was to shoot concerts now, and I was to shoot the digital and convert it to black and white, I don't think it would be as nice as the black and white film. So that's the only time I think about that. I do miss film.
All right, let's see. Mandy wants to know, who would you have liked to have photographed from the golden era of Hollywood?
She knows me. That's a good question for me. So
okay,
because she loves old classic movies like she knows I love.
Old I movies, do too.
So I don't know. There's always a feature on my Facebook that people love. As I always say, today's photograph I wish I took, and it's usually something from the glamour days of old Hollywood, 30s, 40s. So I mean, there's so many. I can go Grace Kelly, James Dean, just all the old legends, Humphrey Bogart, Jimmy Stewart. I would just love to have had those faces, like John Wayne. Today that I always say, actors and actresses for the most part, they're nothing like they were back then. They don't look like that. They don't have that star power. We went from went from Cary Grant to Seth Rogen, you know, so it was like,
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say Cary Grant. I love Cary
yeah,
Grant. Love
and
Cary Grant.
he would be at the top of my list. I'm just,
Yeah,
you know, it just,
yeah.
they don't make them like that anymore, you know. So
No.
all those old timers I just love, you know, like, you know.
I was totally born in the wrong era.
Yeah, that's right.
I was born too late. I
Yeah,
just love all those movies. And then my husband would be like, "Oh yeah, like you'd stay home and just have babies and cook." And I'm like, "No, we would have had a maid because everybody back then had a maid.
yeah,
So I wouldn't have been cooking."
exactly, exactly.
You watch those movies and these people are like living in an apartment in New York and talking about how they don't have enough money with somewhere else, but they got a maid.
Right. Exactly right. That's so true. So true. Yeah, nothing beats those movies. That's all I watch is like old TCM or old movies,
Yes.
whatever. Just like, especially these days, it's good to go back, you know, to a time when things were normal. It's like, you know, so it's, yeah. So, yeah.
Another reason, well, you know what, Mad Men was one of my
Yeah,
favorite
that was a great show.
shows. I loved Mad Men, and I was like, oh man, they look so good. And men look so good in the suits and the hat, and they just look like gentlemen. It looks awesome. And I love a good puffy skirt because you could be as big as anything you want under there, and nobody could tell.
Right.
Right. So I love a good puffy skirt. I
Right.
thought that was I wish they would come back. I love that. All that stuff. I'm totally born in the wrong era.
Yeah.
Scott, do you like to photograph neighbors of famous country music stars? I don't think so. I don't think he likes to
Neighbors?
photograph the neighbor.
Right. If they need
Um,
photos and they have a checkbook, I'll photograph. I don't know. I'm not sure what that means.
Ron says, Squeaky, did you do a lot of your own darkroom work, and has that changed since going digital?
I did some, you know, when in the concert days, I would do the black and white prints. Not when I got into headshots with film. I didn't really do. I would hire a lab to do that. But yeah, it's changed completely because, you know, obviously dark rooms, we don't need them anymore. Luckily.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So in the beginning, again with the rock and roll stuff, I was in the dark room a lot. But yeah.
The days of just washing all those chemicals down the drain are
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Portrait Farm loves Ricky Skaggs. Now Tax USA. Steve says, I was lucky I saw Led Zeppelin in 72 in the Baltimore Civic Center. Definitely once in a lifetime event. Oreo said that's a great shot of Michael Jackson. Sue's loved the Michael Jackson. Great shot. Thriller. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know if I sent you the one of Robert Plant. They would appreciate that if there is Zeppelin.
Did you send me the Robert? I don't think I think you did, and I don't think it.
Didn't make the cut. Didn't make the cut.
Oh, wait. Hold on. It did.
There he is. Yep,
there we go. That's a great picture. Talk
Thank
about
you.
a head of hair.
Also,
did he wind up being? I want to know. Did he wind up being bald later in life? Because men who have a head of hair like that when they're younger, especially if it's blonde, usually wind up being bald. And I thought that would be interesting.
Well, I had hair back in those days too, just like that too. So I guess I'm lucky. But I was never bald. Maybe that's why I didn't go bald.
Well, you don't see a lot of blonde men with a full head of hair, do you?
Yeah, I guess
you
not.
don't.
Yeah.
You don't. I just look at my father and his brother and that whole side of the family, white blonde hair.
Right.
And all the men were bald by the time they were 25.
I never thought of that, but no, my hair looked like that back when I was shooting those guys too. I look like one of them.
Yeah, that's a great picture. So I'm because I just want to make sure I get the right picture, that I have the right one for the. Oh wait, here's another one. I got this one too.
Okay, there you go. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Well, that's absolutely one of my all-time favorites, obviously, because he's no longer with us. So I got the chance to photograph him twice and meet him. Also, very cool, laid back.
Yeah.
But I just love that shot. I sell that as a poster and T-shirts also. But yeah, I just love that. It captured his emotion, obviously, and got the SRV on his guitar. I think that's a great shot. I love it.
So you said you got to meet him. You got to meet him. It was super nice. Did you ever get to meet someone that you were just really looking forward to meet? And we'll talk about music now. We'll talk about headshots coming up. You know, like the not that world, but in this world that you got to meet and you were so disappointed.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I wasn't actually. Anybody that I was really into always turned out to be really nice. I met some people I did not like, and I was kind of like, I was not a fan of theirs to begin with, so I wasn't completely surprised. Won't say the name, but you know, but yeah. So basically, it was like anybody who really was a jerk. It was like I wasn't too impressed with to begin with. So I always find out that the people who were the superstars, the real famous people, they're just the nicest almost sometimes.
Wow,
you know,
that's good.
I don't know if maybe it's an insecurity with people who aren't quite at that level or what it is, but That's my little theory that I
Okay.
developed here. So yeah.
Yeah, no, because I've met some and I was just like, oh my God, you're such a jerk. So, but I also wasn't taking pictures of them or doing
Right.
anything like that. It was just like, and then some of them like, oh wow, you're super nice. But every now and then you're just like, and I get it, like they can't be on all the
Right.
time.
Exactly.
Like you're allowed to have a bad day. So I get that. So I try to
Right.
give grace. But you're just like, you never look at them as the same again. You're like,
Right.
you're a jerk.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Watching your back wants to know, who would you never photograph?
Ooh. Am I allowed to say that?
That's up to you.
Maybe certain politicians I'm not thrilled with. Maybe I wouldn't photograph.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Anybody who follows you knows exactly who you're talking about.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's
Exactly.
fine.
Yeah, I said, Kamala Harris isn't watching this interview, so
Yeah, there you go. Just too busy on with the yentas of the View.
Exactly. I know this.
Yeah,
Somebody who I think is like, actually, more in the serious too. I remember when I was starting off as a photographer, I remember seeing a story that they did on Mark David Chapman, the guy who shot John Lennon, and I was thinking, and this is the beginning of my career. I'm thinking, well, would I take that job? I'm like, no, I wouldn't. If like I would somebody like that, like a really like somebody who's evil or a bad guy, I would like shoot them, and I would turn that down. I think I have to have some integrity, even if it's a paying job and it's they need to do a story on them. But somebody like that, I absolutely would not do. So
interesting.
yeah,
Because I would think that somebody like him could be fascinating to shoot, to take pictures of, and it doesn't have to necessarily all be in a flattering light. I mean,
right.
he's already been tried. We know,
Yeah, exactly.
we know he's a psycho. We know he's a bad guy.
Right. I get that, but
So
I just think I always try to have some morals in my career too. So I think certain people I wouldn't really just turn down, saying, no, I'm not doing it.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. Hermit says, a friend of mine did photography as a hobby. He preferred black and white because he said he could do more with that media than color film.
Yeah, with film, I agree with that. That's like, as I was saying earlier, I miss the black and white. I guess not just with concerts, but it used to be black and white. The headshots were always black and white back in the film days. So that I do miss. I do a lot of
That's right.
I do a lot of converting with my photos. I'll switch them over, and another feature I have on my social media, I'll say today's black and white. So I like to highlight my black and white stuff too. So
yeah.
So
everybody loves the Robert Plant pick. Greg says Plant's hair still looks like that. I can't verify if it's real though.
I think it is actually. I think it is. Yeah, because he still kind of looks the same.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
Suze wants to know what it's drinking. It's just water. It's just water, Suze. So,
what I'm drinking or what you're drinking?
Me. I'm just drinking water.
Yeah, I have red water.
I can't drink wine. I'm allergic to wine, so I can't drink
that's
wine.
No fun.
I drink bourbon instead. Don't tell me that's not fun.
Am I the only guest that comes on drinking, or?
Oh no, I love it. I think it's great.
Good.
I've had guests with cigars and whatever, and then some show up like in a jacket and a tie, and I'm like, oh, you missed the memo. Maddie said she called it. She said Kamala, and then she said I called it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I said they know me pretty well.
Let's see. Okay. Yes, I think she does. All right. So let's go into what you really are known for, and that's photos like these, Mr. Bill O'Reilly. I think you have photographed everyone at Fox, have you not?
A lot of people at Fox. I do more. Do all the Newsmax people now too. So I've done a lot of people from Fox. Not as much as recently, but yeah, here and there.
Yeah. See, and I can't ask for any kind of stories because I know you're never going to want to spill the tea on something. Now, who is this?
Sarah Williamson. She's on Newsmax, great reporter. She was, maybe still is, war correspondent, very brave girl, and
wow.
But just a great reporter. And I love that shot too.
Yeah, no, I figured you liked some of these shots, obviously, because you sent them there. There she is.
Megan Kelly, and that's the third photo shoot I did with her. So she's been very loyal and comes back to me whenever she needs headshots, and just one of the nicest, coolest people you can meet.
I got to work with her when I was at Fox, and she's just so nice.
Right.
So nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always have a great time at our shoots.
Yeah. And I mean, I was nobody to her. I would just be a commentator on her show, but she
Right.
was just, so we both support the same group of nuns, and so does Steve Ducey up in North Jersey. And so I said to her, I said, hey, every time I'm on your show, I call the sister, and I let Mother Superior, and I call her and I let her know that I'm going to be on with you. And they pull all the chairs and all the nuns watch. So she was super excited because I told her that I did that. I guess she never did it, but she has
Right.
an adopted nun there. I do. Steve Ducey does. And so
Oh,
she's
nice. Oh,
I took a picture with her to send to
right.
the nuns.
Oh,
And I
great.
was nothing to her, but she was just so kind.
Right. Yes.
Greg says, how long do the portrait sessions last in general?
I'd say maybe a few hours. It depends. Like I say, women obviously take more time because the makeup, we have them in hair and makeup. Maybe average few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really
And you
depends.
change your clothes, you get 2 changes of
Right. It
clothes,
depends
that
on how
type of
many change of
thing.
clothes. Guys are obviously quicker, the quick makeup, and they
Yeah.
change quicker. So
No one likes to show off. There we go. Watching Your Back says Megyn Kelly had a great interview on Sean Ryan.
I didn't see that one.
I did not see that. All right, so here, who's next?
Rob Schmidt
Not Finnerty.
from
Rob Schmidt.
Schmidt.
There's like 3 Robs at work. There's Rob Finnerty, Rob Schmidt, and
Right.
Rob
Yeah.
Carson. So
Yeah.
I get
And
get them all mixed up.
also Newsmax, actually one of my favorite shows, which I'm recording right now so I can be with you because he's my favorite show.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. No, he's spot on. Good guy too, but always spot on about everything.
Have you done Chris Plant's headshot yet?
Oh, I love Chris Plant. Are you kidding? I sometimes text him in the middle of a show and send him stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
if you know, I was going to say, you remember when I was in DC and you did my headshot, you had done Larry's headshot, you did Vince's headshot, you hadn't done Chris.
Right. And I think I even said to you, I got to get Chris in the studio.
Right.
Because I loved listening to him, even though he's in DC. I would always put him on in the morning. Still do. So
He's
finally
hilarious.
he came to on one of my Virginia shoots, and he came in and we became friends right away. So we just keep in touch, and he's just great. I love it. He's again, agree with everything he says. I love his movie references, his music references, everything. It's like spot on with everything. And he's a funny guy, a smart guy. So
yeah, he's great.
Finally got him in the studio.
I'm glad because Heather Hunter, who was the morning show producer, her headshots, you did hers as well.
Right.
I always just say to Chris all the time, Chris, you need a new headshot. You don't look like that anymore. I hate to tell you this. You need a new headshot. That's not you anymore. I said, just go see Barry. He's going to be, oh yeah. So I'm glad he finally got him.
I was really happy about that.
Okay. Caroline Levitt.
Yes. Yep. That was I love that shot. Just captured her personality. She's sweet. Very sweet girl.
Now, how did she wind up with you for a headshot? I mean, because I know we're kind of moving into the political realm a little bit, but you did photograph quite a few members of the Trump administration.
Yeah, I think I'm the go-to guy. Luckily, especially being in New York, and I think they feel comfortable coming to me, and I guess they know my work, and I guess like it, but also know that I'm kind of on their page, so they feel comfortable.
Isn't it sad that we're at that point where I've got to feel comfortable that my headshot photographer it's not that he's going to do a good job, but we got to be on the same page. That someone who is liberal may not come to you because you photographed members of the Trump administration.
Right. Oh, trust me. I know. And I think we've discussed this before. I've been canceled many times, and there are those who will not come to me because I am a little more outspoken about how I feel about things, as you know too. So
yeah.
So,
but you should have the right to do that.
Yeah. And I get great people. I love my clients.
Now you sent me this. I don't know who this is. So who is it? It's beautiful. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. Who is it?
You just said send some of my favorite shots, and I just love that headshot. She's an actress / model. Nobody I guess not famous, but I just love the shot.
She's absolutely stunning. I was just like, oh boy.
Same with that one, an actress, Simone. I forget her last name, but I just love that capture.
Yeah. Okay. And let's see. And we know who that is.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson. Also,
so when did Tucker come to you?
I came to him. He actually he flew me out to his place. Twice I've been to his location, way out in the boondocks. So he would fly me out. and just do a 2-day, a whole day of shooting with him, just on location. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's
Montana
known
or
where his
Maine?
Oh, Maine. Okay, yeah, I didn't know if it was
Okay.
known where he was. So he is Maine. So, but yeah, you won't find nobody will find him out there.
No.
We flew in. Then from the airport, it was another hour and a half drive to get to him.
Yeah.
Also, just the nicest guy. So cool. Yeah. So yeah,
So
but not
you
twice. We've shot stuff in his studio where he records a show. First time I think he was still with Fox when I photographed him. Then after he left, they called me back and had me do some updated shots. So just that's always a fun trip.
so you just reached out to him somehow, and he said,
No,
"Yeah,
actually, they reached out to me. I guess his producer knew of me, and just emailed me or called, maybe Facebook, whatever it was, and just said, so yeah, they just contacted me. Luckily, my name is known, I guess, in that world.
yes, it is known in that world.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool." I would just want to go through here and get to some more of them. See, I told you that this was going to fly, and we were
Yeah.
just going to just talk, and we're going to get
Yeah.
all these questions. Here's another one. Suze wants to know, did you go shooting or hunting or fishing with Tucker?
There wasn't enough time. I guarantee he would have probably invited us to do that. We did get some good shots of him with his gun out in the woods. So we kind of pretended like he was hunting, but yeah, we didn't get a chance to join him at all. It was we just was shooting and then we were gone. So
yeah.
But I know that's his thing. So yeah.
Hermit wanted to know if there's any headshots of me, but you see my headshots because I use your headshots for all my social media. So you see,
it's exactly it. So that's my
Barry's
shot.
pictures.
Yeah, right? You see Mary's shot. That's me.
Yeah. Manglemush says, I was on a Nuclear Blast Records live stream. I don't think Mary would like the music there. I don't think you would like the music there either.
It's not like yeah.
No, I don't even know what it is. No. So one of the things I wanted to go into is, so you started in music, you went to more portraits, headshots, you win all these awards. You are known as the headshot guy. I mean, you are the gold standard in the industry. And then I noticed you started doing things like this. And that's Gary Sinise with the Lieutenant Dan Band.
Absolutely.
And a lot of military pictures I noticed you started to do. How did that start?
That's just my big support and love for the military and veterans. I'm a big supporter. So that's another group that I love to photograph. I get a lot of veterans that come in. A lot of law enforcement. I photograph a lot for a magazine called Blue Magazine. It's the nation's leading law enforcement magazine. So I do a lot of their work. These days, a lot of military people have podcasts or they do TV appearances. So they need professional photos. So again, I guess they feel comfortable knowing my support. And I always give discounts to veterans and active military. Gold Star families, I do not charge. Gold Star family needs a photo for whatever reason, I charge nothing. It's free. So this particular photo, I happened to volunteer. It was a down in South Carolina. It was I wish I could remember it was with Gary Sinise Foundation, and there was another organization which I'm drawing a blank, which is pretty stupid of me to do that because it's a great organization. But anyway, I volunteered. I went down, and it was a week of military people with their spouses, and it was like a getaway in South Carolina. It was almost like a camp. Then the week, and so I volunteered to go down with my makeup team, and we did portraits of the caregivers, their wives or girlfriends, mothers, whatever, who happen to always taking care of their soldiers, and they never have time for themselves. So we wanted to make them feel beautiful. So we made them up. I did portraits of them, and it was amazing. Probably my highlight of my career. It was pretty incredible experience the whole week. Maybe 3 or 4 days I was there. So the week ended with a concert by Gary Sinise and Lieutenant Dan Band. I just happened to have captured, obviously, these. Actually, you know what? I think I've made this. This may not have been that week. Now that I think of it, I'm sorry. This is another time I photographed. I volunteered to photograph. It was during Memorial Weekend in New York that I got this shot, and that's why the military's out there. So obviously, I captured these military guys.
Yeah.
I just love the capture. I think my favorite compliment that a few people told me is that it looks like a Norman Rockwell painting, and Norman Rockwell is my favorite painter. So I like hearing that. So yeah. Anyway, that's one of my.
Does.
Yeah. So thank you.
Porch View Farm said that it is a very dynamic photo with lots of movement.
Oh, thank
So
you.
clearly she knows
I,
what she's talking about.
yeah, I appreciate it.
Oreo wants to know, would you do a portrait shot of Donald J. Trump suitable for the White House? So don't say anything because the last picture is my favorite. So don't say
Okay.
anything.
All right. I won't. I won't say.
Okay, but you would do that.
But I would. I mean, in a second, I'm waiting for the phone to ring right now for him
There
to
you
call.
go.
Yeah.
For
So
his
I would
inauguration pictures.
yeah, that would be nice.
Oh.
Nice, yeah. And if he wants to bring Melania along too, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Let's photograph her too.
So funny, Gary. You are so funny. God bless Gary Siddish. Yeah, Hermit says those are great. Those are some great headshots of you, then, Mary. So that is all Barry. I'll tell you that right now.
No, teamwork.
Let's see. Okay, Gregory says, once you take someone's photo who's paid for your services, do you retain any rights to use that photo?
With the music photos, I guess I do, because I do make them into T-shirts. Headshots, I guess I own them too, but I don't have any restrictions with people using them. I'll say, use them for whatever you want. I don't like getting into that. I know some headshot photographers say, well, here's your shoot, but you have to buy 2 or 3 that you can use. I've heard, I don't know why they do that, but I give them all the photos and say, they're yours to use for whatever. You paid for them, you had the experience, so I want you to enjoy them and use them. I don't want to try.
I think it's great. And this Chris Peranto, I know you have photographed him several times. You've photographed a lot of guys, a lot of famous soldiers, warriors, and they're incredible photos. And if you ever go on Barry's webpage, if you go on his Facebook page, which is Barry Morgenstein, Stein. He should be Stein. I told him that, but it's Steen. I don't know why. And you could, on Twitter, these are just take your time and just look at the pictures. They're incredible. So you started photographing. I think didn't you photograph Marcus Luttrell as well?
No, Marcus Luttrell, I have not.
I've not photographed. Okay.
He's on my wish list, though. I would love to photograph him.
Okay.
But so the story with Chris Tonto, who we became very good friends, amazing guy. Besides being a hero, like most heroes, he's very humble. So the first time I met him was when the 3 guys from the Benghazi, they were featured in the movie 13 Hours.
Yes.
So it was the 3 main guys, and they came in they wrote the book. So I did their first official portrait of the 3 of them together. So I've remained friends with all 3 of them. I'm very close with Chris too. And so that was an amazing experience, and I've photographed them a few times since. So I think that was my second shoot with them. So yeah,
great pictures.
Thank you.
Hermit Sal has to leave. He took meds to fight his cold. Feel better, Hermit Sal. All right, so the question. This is one of my favorite photos of yours. I asked you to send this, and there were others in this particular session that I loved as well.
Right. I do have a really cool color shot, but this is my favorite.
But you didn't send the really cool color shot.
Yeah. Well, this is my favorite. I love this shot. This is the one that I post and sell the most of.
I just love this. Bibi Netanyahu, Donald Trump. This was in Trump Tower, I believe, in New York, correct? And you were. How did this come about?
So this was 6 months before the first election, when he won the first election, officially won. And I just got it was one of his attorneys was following me on Facebook, and I got a Facebook message. I think it was on a Saturday. I said, "Hey, he said, can you be at Trump Tower tomorrow morning, Sunday, at 7 a.m.? Mr. Trump is going to be with a special guest." And I don't even think they knew who it was until the very last minute. I'm like, well, yeah, I could be there 7 o'clock. I was there, ready to go. And like maybe 2 minutes in, they say, well, it's going to be Benjamin Netanyahu. And I'm like, these are 2 of my all-time favorite people. Yeah. And they're going to be together. So they said, you're going to go up to the residence. They're going to this is like their first official meeting before Trump became president. And they said, you have 2 minutes. They're going to start talking. You have 2 minutes to just start shooting and capture them. So I did. And luckily I just captured that shot, which I think is kind of an historic shot, them. And yeah. So it was amazing. It was I found out downstairs. No, I found out upstairs who the guest was. It was going to be Bibi. But then they said, well, now you have to go back to the lobby because we have to wait to bring him in. So it was like something out of a movie. I'm sitting with surrounded by Secret Service, and I'm sitting in the lobby of the Trump Tower, and I look out to the street, and it was like out of a movie. I see like 6, 7 black SUVs come flying in. They do like a circle, and these guys with machine guns come walking out, and then BB's like in between them all, and they're marching right past me in the lobby. I'm like, well, this is crazy. You don't see this every day. So it was surreal and out of a movie. So it was pretty amazing. So yeah, again, I had 2 minutes to capture that.
That it was, and you got some great pictures. The color one, it's all gold because it's Trump Tower,
exactly.
so there's just gold everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic photo, but I highly recommend go to his webpage, Barry Morgenstein, and also follow him. It's Barry M Photo on
Instagram.
Barry M Photo, right?
Right, absolutely.
On X, and you can find him on Facebook. He has a group there that you can join. All these fantastic pictures. You can find him on Truth Social. It's Barry M Photographer on Truth Social. On Instagram, it's Barry M Photo again there. So please give him a follow. He has so many more phenomenal pictures. It's so great. And you can get the merch. You can get the t-shirts with some of the great pictures on it. And you can get the pictures themselves. Oreo said, what a great journey you're on. You're so blessed.
Thank you.
Gregory says, what an experience. It's an incredible photo.
Thank you.
Susie says, this is so surreal. This was before 2016. Well,
right.
It was actually
2016. Yeah.
It was 2016 after Trump
just
won
right
the
before
election.
the election. So 6 months later, he would be president, and they would do great things together.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And then Biden undid them all.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there was one thing I was going to ask you. There was something else I wanted to ask about all this. I'm getting old. I told my husband I have early onset Alzheimer's, and he told me, honey, it's not early onset anymore. I was like, thanks, babe. Love you. Okay. So, I know what I want to ask you. So, I don't know if you guys know this, but Barry Morgenstein is Jewish, and but you're very you're outspoken politically, and I love that about you.
I'm kind of like James Caan. Everybody thinks I'm Italian, but I'm really Jewish.
Well, you know what? You can mix that up a lot. My husband's Italian, and everybody thinks he's Jewish.
Right.
So there's like a line there, you know. It kind of could go either way. It's that whole Mediterranean area.
Right. Exactly.
But so did you get to speak to Netanyahu at all, or was it like, don't say a word, just take the pictures and then leave, little man?
Pictures and out.
Oh,
yeah. So unfortunately, I did not really get a handshake with either one.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been cool to have a selfie with me in the middle of those two, but that didn't happen.
I know, right? I would have been sitting there like this, going,
You're right, exactly.
I'm just checking the flash. So I know. Yeah, I guess we'll have you on again another time just to do political talk.
Okay, I'm up for that.
But I know you're very outspoken, and I just, what is happening in Israel, I know you and I feel the same way, and we both just wring our hands over Americans, especially Jewish Americans who support the Democrats. Don't understand it. Don't get it.
An hour on that for me to go off on, because that's a pet peeve of mine for sure.
Yeah. Listen, me too.
That'll do it.
Me too. I'm like, I'm Catholic. Why is the Catholic girl advocating for Israel more than you are, and you're Jewish? What the heck?
Why imagine how I feel. Yeah, it's very kind of embarrassing and very frustrating, infuriating. Makes no sense whatsoever.
None at all.
Because all my friends who are non-Jewish say, well, you know, somebody that, like, don't ask me. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what's going through their freaking heads. It's like, it's insanity. It's like our friend Chris Plant says, if you're Jewish and you still vote Democrat, you have mental issues.
Yes, I think that's very true.
Yeah.
Oreo says, Barry, please come back.
Thank you. I love Oreo.
And Suze says, I can't wait for that. Let's do it.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
And Porsche View says, every week this show is so neat. So I try to have different guests. I try to do a lot of mix it up a little bit.
I'm glad I didn't put people to sleep.
Yeah, next week, Ben Dieter from KWAM, it will be joining us. We'll do some news with him. Just to let everybody know, is there anything else you want to plug at all, Barry? Anything you got going on?
No, just check out the headshot, check out my website, and check out the t-shirts, and Maybe since my buddies Jack and Mandy are with us, check out their documentaries on Newsmax. They just did a real powerful documentary on the October 7th attack, and I'm sure it's in repeats.
Oh, wait, they did that?
We did that. Okay, you saw it,
Oh,
right? They
oh my
did that.
gosh. I
Yeah,
didn't see all of it, but oh
yeah,
my gosh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
great. I got to get them on. They should come
Yeah.
on the
You
podcast.
should
Whenever
actually.
you
Yeah.
have a podcast.
I'll do an intro when we're done.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Absolutely
yeah.
do that.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Um, oh, that's fantastic. So
Yeah.
I will put all of your contact info, like all your social stuff, in the description on YouTube, and then we'll go on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So if you need to find Barry, which I recommend, is a great follow, definitely follow him. Phenomenal pictures, and like I said, he
Thank you.
sent me 36, and I whittled it down to 17. So
Oh, actually, can I plug one more friend before we go?
of course.
So, who's also friends with Jack and Mandy? They all kind of work together. So, Chris Martini, my buddy, who's I don't know, I'm sure if he's listening. So, he's a director, very talented. He did the Relentless Patriot, Scott Lebedo film. Which I
Oh
don't know.
yeah.
But
Oh
right
yeah,
now,
Scott.
so he just did that. He did that amazing film. He directed that. But now they're coming out with a new film, and it's about. I wish I get him drawing a blank. He'll probably kill me. But it's the truth about Donald Trump. And it's coming out this month. It's basically showing the side of Donald Trump that people don't know, the charitable side, the kind side, the family side, and
Well, maybe we could get him on before it
get
comes
him
out,
on
or
too.
right when it comes out, and we
Yeah,
could plug it. Plug.
yeah, oh,
I'm
yeah.
more than happy to do
Yeah,
that.
sorry to plug all my friends,
Um,
but we're all like they're great, talented people. So I love seeing my friends succeed.
of course. And
Yeah.
listen, I'm more than happy to
I'll do an
like
intro
if
to
it,
everybody.
right? Why not?
Yeah.
Let's see. Mangle Mush says, I have Irish Alzheimer's. I forget everything but a grudge. Mandy says,
Chris,
Chris,
there you go.
it's called Donald Trump, the
There you
man
go. Oh,
you
thank you,
don't
Mandy.
know.
There you go. Perfect.
I want to see
Thank you.
this
Yeah, I'm
I'm
sorry.
so glad it's coming out before the election
Exactly.
too.
I think
Nice.
he did it in record time. So to get this film out, I don't know if you saw
All right.
Relentless Patriot, the Scott Lebedo, because it was a great film. Also, so talented. So this is going to be a great film too.
All right, fantastic. So we'll hook up. Maybe we can try to do that before the election.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Barry. I'm
Thank
just
you.
going to
So
say
great.
goodbye to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to plug my schedule
Okay.
coming up.
Thank you. Let's do it again.
Thank you. Take care. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Bear. Okay, so tomorrow I may be in for David Webb. Not 100% sure. He's in Florida, but hoping that he'll probably still have power tomorrow morning, because I don't think the hurricane, and he's on the east side. Hurricane's not making land until tomorrow night at like 1 after midnight. So I'm pretty sure David Webb's going to be in tomorrow. But if not, I'm in for him from 9 a.m. to noon on Sirius Patriot Channel. Thursday and Friday, I am in for Rob Carson, noon to 3 p.m. on Newsmax Radio. And if you want to find it, go to WCBM, look up WCBM on TuneIn or online, and you can listen that way. And it's also syndicated nationally as well. All right. So, and then Monday, of course, I will be on the Chris Salcedo show on Newsmax. And then Tuesday, back here with Ben Dieter from KWAM out of Memphis. And we're going to do some news deconstruction with Ben. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Mandy, Gregory, Manglebush, Suze, Oreo, Hermit Sal, who's left already, and Scott, and everybody at Porch View Farm. Thank you, guys. If I left anybody out, I'm so sorry. Watching your back, thank you. And I will see you soon. All right.